Assalamualaikum and hi! I am Norwahidah and today I am going to talk about one of Hof State national culture dimension, which is long-term and short-term orientation. The flows will be started with the definitions, Malaysia as a short-term orientation-oriented country, and lastly, the conclusion. Without further ado, let's start. First, the definition. Let's go one by one. Long-term orientation simply means a society that focuses on the future. A society that has this cultural dimension is willing to do anything for the future, and their traditions are adaptable to changed circumstances. For example, they are willing to give up the opportunity to rejoice in their current success, or it could be called a short-term emotional gratification. For them, what matters is they are prepared for the future. An example of a long-term orientation country is Japan. According to Hof State Insights, Japan scores 88 as one of the most long-term orientation-oriented societies. Through a long history of mankind, the Japanese see their life as a very brief moment. Plus, the idea of a mighty God also does not exist in Japanese culture. Besides, they also have this principle which is just do your best in your life, and that is it. That is all you can do. Make more money so your children and the next generation will not suffer. Next, short-term orientation is when society focuses on the present or the past and believes that they are more important than the future. This kind of society values tradition and it is sacrosanct. They show great respect for cultures, a relatively small propensity to save for the future, and a focus on faster results. For example, they are proud of their country and the tradition must stay as what it is no matter what. An example of a short-term orientation country is Malaysia. This will bring us to the next discussion, which is Malaysia as a short-term orientation-oriented country. As I mentioned before, the criteria of STO is values tradition and focuses on the present or the past and more, and Malaysia fulfills most of it. Malaysia is widely known as a multiracial country, and with that, we will have many traditions according to a race. For today's discussion, I will choose Malay's tradition as an example. In general, Malays are occupied with traditions. This is reflected in the Malay sayings, biar mati anak, jangan mati adat, which shows the importance of upholding not only the tradition but also the Islamic rules. For example, we still have the tradition of merisi, memina, bersanding, and walimatul urus. These traditions cannot be separated because it is one of our Islamic teachings and we also call it as adab. Malays values this and it cannot be changed. It is our identity. Besides, Malaysia is a STO country because we live in the present. It means thinking about what's happening now and what we are living for today. Most Malaysians are worrying about how to survive for a day instead of sustainability in the future. This happens because we are still a developing country and some Malaysians do not have a stable job. This is not only happening now, but decades ago. Our economic state influences our actions. Instead of thinking, I want to make my descendants rich, we will think, how will I provide enough money for my family this month? This is what it means with a relatively small propensity to save for the future, as I mentioned before. We are focused on the present. In conclusion, Malaysia is a short-term orientation country and I believe it is not either a good or bad thing. The most important thing is we acknowledge each other's traditions, respect them, and we protect each other. Long live Malaysia!